Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about 50 plus must-know stats about the exploding CBD industry. And this includes demographics, use habits, market value, and a bunch more. This article has gotten their information from many reputable sources like Brightfield Group, Consumer Reports, uh, and a bunch of other places. It's got a list of sources on the bottom of the page. However, today we're going to go over these statistics. Hopefully, you learned something. I'm assuming that I'm going to learn some things from this article as well. But let's go through it together. So first category is going to be CBD user demographics statistics. All right. So it looks like CBD is used by all age groups, but is most popular amongst the young. CBD is distributed relatively amongst various income groups. Americans are very familiar with CBD, although the overall percentage of people who have tried it is relatively small. So it looks like only 17% of the population has tried CBD. So 18 to 34-year-olds comprise of 39% of hemp-derived CBD users. Only 8% of CBD users are age 65 or older, which is quite interesting because a lot of the, I guess a lot of people who are looking for wellness and to relieve pain are more or less middle age. I would assume that younger people are more or less using it for anxiety and recreational use. But that's interesting that only 8% of CBD users are 65 and older. Maybe it's because they're more likely to be using some more serious drug regimens. Who knows? Let's move on though. 10% of Americans between the ages 18 to 44 use CBD regularly. This might have something to do with the fact that anxiety is the most common ailment treated with CBD, and millennials are experiencing anxiety at twice the average rate. And it's cool that this article has studies and other sources linked within. So if you guys want to read those sources and kind of delve into each one of these points, I'll have it linked in the description below. So you'll be able to check it out for yourself. All right, so the 18 to 29 demographic is more open to CBD than any other. 40% have tried CBD. Okay, so yeah, so the youngest demographic is definitely going to be the most susceptible to, not susceptible, but they'll be more willing to try it because just the younger generation has less of a stigma against cannabis and that space altogether. In comparison, only 15% of those surveyed aged 65 or older had tried CBD. So yeah, we need to get some people 65 and older trying CBD because I feel like they would have a very good time with it. All right, Western states are the most CBD friendly. Of the U.S. adults that have tried CBD, 27% live in a Western state. The next most CBD-friendly region is the Midwest, which represents 18% of CBD users. Colorado, in particular, is the hub of several top CBD companies and is also one of the cradles of hemp grown in the United States. Yeah, so a lot of the best hemp comes from Colorado. They were kind of the pioneers when it came to legalizing cannabis. So a lot of the higher quality hemp grown in the U.S. is going to be from Colorado and the Midwestern areas. Um, the eastern part of the United States needs to get. They're coming back. They're coming up. They're behind the race, but you know they're they're coming up from being behind basically. All right, so white Americans are more likely to use CBD than any other ethnicity. 66% of CBD users surveyed by a Brightfield Group were Caucasian, and yeah, I don't really have anything to say about that. Other ethnicities need to get on they need to get on the CBD train for sure. Um, I don't know how we can diversify CBD to other races, but they definitely need to come to this channel and learn some more about CBD, and maybe they'll take the plunge. So women are more likely to use CBD than men. 55% of CBD users are female, while 44% of users are male. That might be because I feel like I read a study somewhere that say men are less likely to go to the doctor, or men are less likely to complain about the pain that they're having. So men are more likely to have like higher risk because they're less likely to go treat something when it hurts them. So I know, like myself, I'd have to have like 18 broken bones in order for me to go to the hospital or even take an ambulance. So I understand that statistic, and that kind of makes sense. Most CBD users are not single. 43% of CBD users are married, and 61% of CBD users live with their significant other. All right, so maybe it's the significant other that they're trying to relieve some stress or some pain. I'm just playing. All right, 44% of hemp-derived CBD users are college graduates, compared to only 34% of the population having a college degree. That's quite interesting. So, I guess if you work hard and you finish college and you're in that workforce, have a lot of stress and a lot of achy, just I guess a lot of stress. So CBD would definitely help with that anxiety for those in the workforce and in the corporate world, wearing suits and ties and meetings and numbers and all that stuff. So yeah, I could see that being a thing, especially with the broad spectrum that's coming out. So now they can have a THC-free variant. So if they ever get drug tested, they should be good to go. All right, 44% of hemp-derived CBD users are middle class, 30K to 100K a year. 20% of hemp-derived CBD users earn less than 30K a year. 17% earn more than $100, or I guess $100,000 a year. Is that what they meant to say there? Which I guess makes sense. CBD is a little bit more on the expensive side of, I guess, what people normally buy. Like I wouldn't spend like the CBDs the CBD oils you see at the gas station that are like $20. I mean, there's probably more that meets the eye than just CBD. It might be some THC, it might be some other bad chemicals that they're not revealing. So I definitely wouldn't trust. I would definitely spend a little bit extra dollars just to have the peace of mind that the CBD that I'm ingesting is good. Now that doesn't take away from the fact that there are companies out there that will charge a lot and still be, not a good option. So you just have to do your research. So it makes sense that college educated, higher earning individuals would choose CBD because it kind of takes a little bit of effort to get into it because there's a lot of education that needs to be had. So interesting. So 3% of CBD users are unemployed. So that's interesting. So yeah, it looks like most people are middle class. So it's general, and like up here it says most people who take it are in their 30s to 40s, or 30s to 50s. So it would make sense that it's a higher earning bracket because older people tend to make more money. So that could be a thing. All right, so Americans overwhelmingly express support for CBD use, including as an alternative to pharmaceuticals. Of those who are familiar with CBD, over 80% support its use. 56% support using CBD as an alternative to pharmaceuticals. Yeah, so that's a lot of people. I feel like there's such a bad stigma with pharmaceuticals, especially opioids. If there's an alternative method that is approved by a doctor, then I would say take that alternative method. 86% of Americans have heard of CBD, 18% have tried it. The gap between the number of people familiar with the CBD and the number of people who have tried it suggests that there's plenty of growth potential in the CBD market. And I think that has to do a lot with the regulation, the lack of regulation rather, and the fact that there's a lot of companies taking advantage of the current market with the lack of regulation and producing products that aren't good. So I hear a lot of people who come into the store, they're always asking, how do I know that this product is good? I've heard so many bad stories, and I'm sure there's local news stories all the time talking about how this one CBD company tried to claim that they could cure cancer or that they could, so there's a lot of bad claims, a lot of bad companies out there. So I think that stigma, once the regulation comes and once we're able to kind of weed all the bad companies out, I feel like that number of 18% will skyrocket. All right, so 7% of Americans are regular CBD users. Surveys vary on this point. Another survey from Consumer Reports said that 1 in 7 Americans had tried CBD, which is about 14% or double the Press Herald number. All right, so yeah, I mean, those are two different stats, I guess. So this is 7% of Americans regularly use CBD, and this is 1 in 7 Americans have tried CBD. So we're just gonna skip that one. All right, so this category is going to be CBD market and sales statistics. The CBD market is projected to grow nearly $2 billion by 2020. In 2017, CBD sales reached 367 million and ballooned to 845 billion by 2019, expected to reach 1.9 in 2022. And that chart that's a delicious chart. It's going up, 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 up. And that means that more people are being helped, more people are taking an alternative natural route that is being proven to work for them and to work for other people. So that's definitely an awesome statistic, and I'm sure after 2020 it's going to be like all the way up here, and that'd be awesome, especially for me. The CBD edible market is projected to reach 4.1 billion in 2019. The same report states that CBD gummy sales increased by 225% in just a year. Yeah, people are going crazy for gummies, so that I can believe that, and it will just only go up and up and up, especially when the FDA approves certain measures when it comes to putting CBD in food. All right, the CBD beverage market is projected to reach 1.4 billion by 2023. CBD beverage market was only 86 million in 2018, then jumped to 227 million in 2019. And that's an interesting market to get into. I don't really know much about the CBD beverage market, so I might do a video on that, maybe do a few reviews. But that's interesting to see that jump up. That would definitely be a good market to get into if you're like trying to start a CBD business. Maybe you do exclusively beverages or drinks. I don't know what the regulation is around that, if it's federal or statewide, but it's definitely something you can do research on. Google searches for CBD have more than quadrupled since 2017, and yeah, this is the Google Trends. This is a little bit dated, so this doesn't show 2020, but 2020 it does go down a little bit, like to like around this area, but you can also see it's going back up too. So I don't have it pulled up, but I use Google Trends often, and I'm always looking at it, so I know what it looks like now. So it's like kind of like the coronavirus cases. It goes up and then it goes down and it goes up. So yeah, so CBD is not going anywhere. There was in the beginning, like end of 2019, beginning of 2020, they had the big FDA crackdown where they exposed a bunch of online brands that were touting certain, like saying that their CBD cures whatever, or their CBD does so and so, and obviously you can't do that. So there was a big dip in the popularity with Google for CBD. But now that there's more studies coming out about, like the potential help with COVID-19 and, CBDA that's coming out and CBN and new things, new extraction methods, nanoemulsion to get higher bioavailability. So a lot of things are happening to whereas this curve will go right back up. Yeah. So CBD gummies were the third most searched food in Google in 2018. The two top spots on the list: unicorn cake and romaine lettuce. Oh yeah, I remember romaine lettuce. There was a big recall on romaine lettuce in 2018. and that was pretty scary because I was in the restaurant industry and we couldn't sell Caesar salads anymore. It was a sad day. The number of financial institutions banking marijuana-related businesses, including CBD, increased rapidly in 2018 and 2019. And that was great and all, but it's still super, super difficult to get a payment processor for CBD, especially online. In person, it's fine, it's easy, but as soon as you say you do anything with CBD, you usually get either banned or the process turns into like a 40 to 50-day process, and it's tough. So hopefully they can pass some legislation. I know they're passing, but they're talking about passing some legislation a couple of weeks ago or this week or whatever that was saying that it's going to be easier for CBD businesses to get loans from banks. So that's a good thing. It's always going to get better, but it's just annoying right now. Um, but yeah, that's that. So just over 400 banks and credit unions were banking marijuana-related businesses at the beginning of 2018, and it's increased to 633 by the end of Q1 2019. So yeah, so like a few more banks, pretty much. Charlotte's Web is the most popular hemp-derived CBD brand in the United States. Yeah, but that changes. Charlotte's Web is great. They have a good marketing program in there. They're kind of the pioneers. They were able to lay the groundwork for a lot of what we're doing right now. All right, so most CBD users get their CBD products from retail or storefront locations. 55% of CBD users purchase their CBD at a storefront dispensary, 31% through local delivery services, and 17% online. That 17% online is going to shoot up in the next year or two, and it's probably going to flip-flop from 55% here to 55% here, just because once they're able to fully regulate it, there won't be any issues with online brands. There are over 1,000 CBD brands currently on the market. 850 of these brands sell marijuana-derived CBD, while 150 sell hemp-derived CBD. Nearly 70% of products are mislabeled. The study found that 42.85% of tests of tested CBD products were overlabeled, containing less CBD than claimed, while 26% were underlabeled, containing more CBD than claimed. And that's pretty crazy. Like 70%, that's too much. I mean, that means only 30% of CBD brands actually have the contents in them, and that doesn't even include those brands who may have bad chemicals or solvents or anything else in them. And so this is the biggest thing that's keeping CBD from being the bee's knees, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is, because there's going to be bad people out there, and there's nothing we can do about it. So we just have to make sure that we can, hopefully we can get some legislation out there that'll make it so that we can find out all these bad people and shut them down before they get their CBD in the hands of anyone, because that's the worst part. Consuming CBD with contaminants, pesticides, salmonella, that's bad, obviously. So U.S. hemp acres tripled in 2017 and 2018. Farmers are rapidly mobilizing to capitalize on the CBD craze. In 2017, only 25,713 acres in the United States were devoted to hemp agriculture. In 2019, it jumped to 78,176 acres. So that's amazing. It's got like almost tripled. So that's awesome. Love a good hemp farm. The availability of CBD in the U.S. increased by 80% in 2018 alone. The market reached 519 million. Women are founders or general managers of over 75% of CBD brands. That's crazy. This statistic was taken from online CBD marketplace, which ships CBD to 41 states across the U.S. But that's awesome that women are in CBD brands. Yeah, that's great. Statistics on CBD use. Okay, this is interesting. People most commonly use CBD for relaxation. Anxiety is the most common ailment treated with CBD. Yeah, so relaxation, stress, anxiety, improve sleep, um, relieve muscle, relieve chronic, relieve joint, social use, treat migraines, offset nausea, spiritual use. Yeah, so these are the main kind of 10 top 10 reasons why people use CBD. It's interesting that, well, it's not really that interesting, but it's cool to see this. It's cool to see what people are using it for. I wonder what social use means. I guess that would be kind of in conjuncture with stress and anxiety, for like social anxiety. So yeah, that's cool. It's a cool little chart. 80% of CBD users found the CBD products they use to be either effective or very effective. This finding is consistent across surveys. A huge majority of CBD users are pleased with the effectiveness of the CBD product that they use. Yes, and especially with dosing, if you find the sweet spot, you're definitely going to feel the effects. I'm hard pressed to find someone who says that they don't feel anything. And if they don't feel anything, you ask them. You ask them, what their regimen was, how much they took, and they usually tell on themselves really quickly. All right, so 52% of users consider CBD to be more effective or much more effective in relieving medical conditions uh, than over-the-counter products. This is true for both hemp-derived CBD users and marijuana-derived CBD users. 22% of CBD users replaced some type of medication with CBD. Many people turn to CBD because it's plant-based remedies with very few side effects compared to some over-the-counter prescription medications. All right, yeah, and of those who replaced some type of medication with CBD, 36% replaced a pharmaceutical opioid, oxycodone, Percocet, etc. Given that the opioid crisis is ravaging middle America, this statistic is potentially of huge importance if CBD can replace opioids for a significant number of people. And that's the number one thing that people come into the store. They're looking to replace their opioids because they know that it's easily addictive, and they can, as long as they say that they're in some amount of pain, they know that their doctor is going to give them what they're going to give them. So in this way, you can go a natural route and not have to worry about all those side effects. And yeah, that's definitely better for your overall well-being. CBD infused drinks and edibles are the most popular form of CBD. Vaping and consuming CBD via a tincture or edible rank as the most popular forms of consumption. And edibles are probably the worst way, but they're tasty and delicious, so I understand. CBD infused drinks, I, I assume that would be very, very good because they're, water soluble. So the the absorption in the body will be very, very quick. Vaping and tincture are definitely going to be the best ways, or a water soluble tincture, which is going to have insane bioavailability. And that's fairly new to the market, to the CBD market, water solubles. Like I actually have one right here. This is actually strawberry lime, from SunMed. They have this like nano emulsion technology that makes it so that the absorption is super fast. So it actually has a better bioavailability than vaping. So it's up to 80% bioavailability and vaping is only 50 to 60%. So now they have this product here, so you can take a dropper of this and be good in like 5 to 10 minutes, which is pretty amazing. All right, so 74% of CBD users experience no side effects. Yeah, I mean, 70. I would say the majority of people don't experience side effects, and if they do, it's because they did it wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But different bodies call for different approaches. So it's definitely unfortunate if you do have side effects with using CBD, but most people do not. Millennials use CBD more for stress and anxiety. Baby boomers use CBD for more for joint pain, which makes sense. I mean, old people hurt, and millennials are just sad. uh, Among CBD users, 41% use CBD every day, only 4% of Cbd users are occasional users, use Cbd less than once per month. And that's good. I mean, it should be an everyday, it should be a regimen. If you are only using it for in case things, that's still good, but it's good. It's best to have a regimen. So once in the morning, once at night, and you'd be good. You'd be good to go. 70% of Cbd users also use THC dominant products. However, those who both use cannabinoid, Cbd dominant, and THC dominant products spend significantly less on THC dominant products than those who use THC products alone. Interesting. I guess that doesn't include the black market, but we're not going to talk about that. All right, so the gap between the number of people who have heard of CBD and the number who have tried it indicates that there is still a lot of growth potential, especially considering how CBD-friendly young folks are and generally positive attitudes Americans have towards CBD. Add to that CBD's broad applicability and the fact that users report overwhelmingly positive experiences, and you've got the makings of a true health and wellness juggernaut that's on its way up. Yeah, so that's a fun little article that I wanted to read today. All the sources are down here from where they get all of their information. I didn't go through all these sources, but I've seen most of these links, most of these domain names, so I can tell that it's good information. But yeah, I hope you learned something today about CBD. The market's just begun and it's only going up, so those numbers, those crazy numbers that we saw, like 5.3 billion and all that stuff, that's just going to go up and up and up. Especially with the amount of clinical trials happening and amount of people just interested in seeing if CBD is worth trying and worth using. So yeah, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions or if you want to know more information about CBD, there's a quiz in the description down below. It kind of asks you a few questions. You give your name, your email, and we actually set you up with a CBD professional that you can call, and they'll be able to talk to you about, what's going on in your life, how much are you hurting, and what we can do to help you, get past that, or at least alleviate some of the symptoms that you're feeling. So that's definitely, if you're interested in that, the quiz is down in the description. There's also a link to the CBD that I use. So a bunch of information. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. Definitely helps out the channel. Watch the whole video, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day. All right, bye now.